What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some hard house. That is to say, we're going to listen to some BK, some Ben Keen. I'm pretty sure I reacted to his remix along with, I think, Decibel, of the Easy on the Cut track, which I think is originally a Nick Sentience tune. Pretty sure I reacted to that. Maybe one or two others, I'm not sure in the moment. But there's no denying that this artist, BK, real name Ben Keen, was a massive influence on the type of records I was buying and the music I was listening to, like as a DJ and a raver at the turn of the millennium. Which is to say, just to give briefly the story, people will know who've been following the channel for a while, but like late 96, I went to my first rave party, and I had been introduced to trance, primarily Goa trance, by my brother a few months before that. Eventually, that led me to discover the acid sound, because a lot of old school Goa has a prominent acid component, and that led me to acid trance and acid techno genres, like, more formally dedicated to the acid sound, and, the rest, as they say, is history. But my head was turned right around the turn of the millennium, like maybe starting late 98, maybe 6-7 months after I had gotten turntables and begun to buy both trance records and whatever acid techno I could find, which admittedly, wasn't much at first. But I discovered at a record shop that I had been going to, Vinyl Fetish, the one off of Vermont, not the one off of Melrose, but both of them up in Hollywood, and I don't think either location is there anymore. But yeah, I would go there to buy trance, and again, if I could find some acid techno, and they started stocking Nukleuz. And, if you can see here, I still have Nukleuz slip mats. Bottom line, just on a random, on a lark, if you will, I picked a Nukleuz record off the wall, and it was one of these Heartbeat series. I don't know if this is the first one. This is pretty early on. I want to say this is probably released 98, am I right? Does it say? It says 99, so it's 99, but the point is, a lot of the early blue Nukleuz, there's like 3 sublabels of Nukleuz, or at least there was back in the day. The green one was more like tech trance mixed with a bit of hard house. Purple, I forget what that, maybe it was like more like house, like, kind of funky house and so on. But the blue label was sort of hard driving, what some people were calling Nu-NRG at the time, because, energy, it's a type of dance music that had gone back to earlier times, but the Nu-NRG, again, like N-U-N-R-G, and hard house were often sort of the same thing. Either way, I became a big fan of BK's music. Of all the hard house producers at the time, I just thought he had like a class to his productions, and they vary. Their stuff as hard as his tune Badass, and I think it's like the 3 a.m. mix or something like that, all the way to something like Revolution, which is very trance-like and melancholic and so on. This one is on neither of those ends of the spectrum. It's smack dab in the middle of the turn of the millennium Nu-NRG hard house, which was heavy in the Hoover sound. So you're going to hear lots of the Hoover sound, sometimes referred to as the Mentasm sound. Either way, let's listen to it. This is BK. The tune is Music for the People, and you will hear a sample. And, it's fair to say the sample here is typical of a lot of Nu-NRG hard house at the time, in that most of the vocal samples would be pitched up, like, as if someone had given the sample like a blast of helium, and so their voice is, it sounds very high in a lot of the samples in this genre. So here we go, from Heartbeat 10, BK, real name Ben Keen, and the tune is Music for the People. Placeholder beats. They're great for DJs, right? That opening, I think it was a 64, with that like soft placeholder kick. It's great because it lets you, either start a mix straight away or get ready for the actual measure that you will transition in.
Music for the people.
But for my purposes here, is like, I don't know how loud the real kick is going to be when it comes in. for the... There's this sort of creaking, menacing synth line.
Music for the people.
Wait for the beat bass. We got that real bouncy hard house bass line. Wait for the beat bass.
Music for the people.
And you're like, I thought you said it was hoovers. Tension string.
Music for the people.
Putting the Hoover back inside a box. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a fan of this genre and you hear it in some old school trance too, but a good tension string, I like it. You know something's up. But watch the ferocity with which it comes back with the Hoover riff.
Music for the people.
This kind of hard house is like, it's hard and wicked, but it's just like, it's having it. It's like party style. Like,
Music for the people.
it's just a solid tune, top to bottom. It's not one of his flashier tracks. He's got tune again. I love how the lower end, the deeper bass comes back there. But yeah, he's got more melodic tunes than this. He's got harder tunes than this. But this one's in a really good place.
Music for the people.
Just the deeper one. And the kick ain't no chump either. transition out by this point. Otherwise, the energy meter is like. But at the same time, you know, I'll never complain about a track catering to DJs by giving long intros and outros, because it just gives you more options with what you can do.
Music for the people.
Yep, that's what it is. And for the record, I continue to follow BK. He still makes tunes. To finish the story, essentially, like, for the next couple years, from like 99 to maybe like '01, a lot of my sets were a sort of combination of acid trance, hard trance, and hard house. So they were sort of like somewhere between like Core's Pablo Gargano, BK, you know, some of the tidy like hard house records. It was sort of like a blend. And indeed, like the, you know, professional mixtape I released back then called Anger Management, because it's like, you know, it's hard and driving, but there's some melody to it, you know, there's some atmosphere, so I feel like that was a good title. Either way, I have the first side of that set. The second side, there's some like audio bleeding. I have it. I suppose I could post it even though there's like audio bleeding, which means like you're only supposed to be hearing one record, but the mixer is sort of damaged a little bit. And so you can like hear the second record as I'm like, you know, queuing it up and, you know, getting, you know, matching the beats and so on. It's only at the very beginning of the side, so maybe I'll still post it. But the point is that mix or that tape, both sides, it's exactly that. It's a combination of hard trance, acid trance, hard house like this. So yeah, that was sort of the flavor that I spun during my initial period of like playing parties, which again lasted from late 99 to like '03 maybe. In any case, by the time you get to like the mid-aughties, and certainly by the time I began like really DJing a lot again, which was like '08 or so, '08, '09, by that point I had sort of shifted back more fully and more significantly to acid trance and acid techno. But like I said, the hard house of 99 to like '02 or so, I will always hold in very high esteem and view very nostalgically, because it was just style that, again, made me turn my head. It's, you know, I often would try to find hard house records with acid, and there's a lot of that, certainly. But as I said, you know, I was very into acid techno and acid trance and, you know, Goa trance and, you know, to a certain extent hardcore. And then I discovered this style of hard house. I was like, man, I really have to start buying some records in that style. And BK was definitely my favorite artist in that genre. So big shout out to Ben Keen. Big shout out to all of you. Let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.